It is my pleasure at this point to introduce the leader of our organization, a newly appointed CEO, Mr. Bo Goldie. He's been on board about 6 months. Please help me welcome him.
Good morning. I've actually been on board for a little bit longer than 6 months. I've been at the district now this is my 25th year at the Santa Clara Valley Water District. Got appointed on June 1st in my new assignment as the CEO. So it's quite an interesting activity. It's quite busy. But I wanted to welcome everybody here today. It's our pleasure to really be your host. We have some good facilities here that will help facilitate the meeting and the exchange and communication that you are going to go through. As all of you know, workforce development is a fundamental issue that we have to ensure that our workforce can provide the services to the communities that we all serve. It is critical for us to be able to continue with those services, not only for today, but into the future. If we are not in a position that we can develop our workforce to get them ready to take on the new roles as people retire, we also need the workforce to be in place so we can be more flexible. We're in very difficult economic times now, and it is important for us to be able to have staff that are flexible, that can work in other areas within our organization. Because of this, I've identified that workforce development is one of my top priorities at the Water District here. It is critical because, as I mentioned, flexibility within the workforce, being prepared to be able to continue providing the services as some of our folks start to retire, and in order for us to be efficient in our operations and provide those services to the community. It's easy to view training during these economic times as discretionary spending. Actually, I believe that it's even more critical now to make sure we have those resources available to develop our staff, because we do need to be more flexible and have that staff that we can train and move into other areas within the organization so that we can actually continue to deliver the services efficiently. It's also important for us to look a little bit into the future. We need to be able to attract the new generation of staff that can come into the organization, because all of us someday are going to be depending on the services that we provide. And we want to make sure that we have well-trained staff in the organization to be able to continue those as we move on ourselves. We also need to develop our staff so we can leverage the limited resources we have. As I mentioned earlier, the flexibility that we have, but if we have staff that have knowledge in multiple areas within the organization, that really helps us to leverage what we need as many organizations downsize and continue to rely on the staff that we have. This workshop is actually critical to that. It's really these workshops like these and to exchange the information, the ideas, so we're actually leveraging the information that we all develop. Each of us have different areas that we have expertise on. We develop programs that we can share with each other is really what this workshop is about, and I commend you for doing this, and I appreciate this. Although I will not be able to stay, I do have the entire packet, and I can guarantee you I will be going through all of this. I have a specific assignment on Gustavo Delatore of the district. That's his primary function, is the workforce development. He reports directly to me to make sure that that happens. And then we have Ray Yep, who is actually, many of you know, has been helping to move this forward. Before I leave you today, I would like to introduce one of our board members. This helps to understand how important and valuable workforce development is within the district. So it's my pleasure to introduce Rosemary Kamei.
Thank you so much, Bo. When I learned that we were hosting this workshop on workforce development, I was extremely delighted. So it's my pleasure to welcome you here to the Santa Clara Valley Water District. I understand this is the second time we're hosting this, and I think it's critically important. In January, we changed and had a new chair put in and a vice chair, and we go through our priorities for the year, for this 2010. And one of the items that came up was workforce development. So I just wanted to share with you how important it is from a policy point of view, that the board sees that this is critically important to invest in. And it's wonderful to see so many of you here to prepare for the future. I know that as far as we're concerned, our employees are our most important asset, and we must find ways to really develop and prepare for the future and to provide the best service to our community. So with that, I'm going to be very brief and say, hope you have a wonderful workshop, and turn it over to Ray Yep, who is our Deputy Operating Officer. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Ray Yep with the Santa Clara Valley Water District, and I've been asked to introduce the moderator today, which is Cheryl Davis. And that would really take half an hour, but since I don't have that much time, let me just be brief and say that Cheryl is a great colleague to work with. We really appreciate all that she's done here in the San Francisco Bay Area and also in the water profession. From the time that I've known Cheryl, which is probably over 25 years, I've seen Cheryl provide great leadership at her agency, which is SFPUC, but also she was a founding member of the BASIC Collaborative, which is the collaborative here in the Bay Area dealing with security. She was a founding member of the Water Reuse Collaborative, and now in a third repeat, she's a founding member of Baywork. And that is all the utilities in the Bay Area that are welcome to join in dealing with workforce development. So Cheryl brings a great history of knowledge of operations, but also with what are the issues with utilities, and through her leadership, she is now the chair of the Baywork Collaborative, and she will be the moderator for the sessions today. So it's my pleasure to have the ability to work with Cheryl, but also introduce Cheryl Davis next. Thank you.
Hi, thanks. It's really a pleasure to me to welcome all of you today. And that's kind of a rote thing that people say, but I actually mean it. It's kind of like when you get ready for a party and you've worked and you've got the food and you've got the drinks and you've got the music and you think, I'm going to have a good time. So what I'm sure is that we have such good speakers here today that I'm going to learn a lot. And I know that you will have an opportunity to learn a lot and also to contribute to our learning. For those of you who attended our first workshop in 2008, welcome back. We're very happy to see you again. To Santa Clara Valley Water District, which has hosted us twice. Thank you to Zone 7, which provided our morning refreshments, and to the San Jose Santa Clara Water Pollution Control Plant, which provided afternoon refreshments. Also, thank you. And to those of you who are new to Baywork, I'd like to extend a special welcome. We're really glad to have you here. Baywork was formed in June of 2009 as a collaborative of Bay Area water and wastewater utilities who are working together on workforce development so that we can be more cost effective in our workforce development investments than we would be if we were trying to do everything individually. I would encourage you to check out the materials in your handouts. Many of the materials in your handout today relate to the presentations and the agenda and so forth, but there's also explanatory material about Baywork and what we do. One thing I'd like to explain is that when people talk about workforce development, they mean a lot of different things. So I want to make sure that you understand what Baywork means, what workforce development means to us. To us, it means what do we have to do with our workforce? What are all those range of activities that we need to do to make sure that we have operational reliability? The people who founded the moving forward of this effort came out of operations, and we knew that the ultimate bottom line wasn't to fill positions with minimum qualifications with people